And when I think about my neighbors and I think about which guys are the like most fun to hang out with, who's the happiest, who's like the life of the party in a way, like they have a lot of little neighborhood parties and things from time to time. Guess what? It's the fireman that lives two houses down. It's the cop that lives two houses down and across the street. They're both retired. And who else? There's another guy. He's a lawyer though, and he's still working. He makes a few bucks, but the point here is that those guys are the most happy guys that I know in my neighborhood, and they're both retired with pensions. That's what they have in common. They both have pensions that are like 80 or 90% of what they were making in their working career. They were also able to retire fairly young, and now they're just living their best life without a care or worry in the world. I mean, I talked to them the other day about the markets and things, and guess what? Tim is the fireman's name, and he said, he goes, Jeremiah. He's like, and he's from New Jersey, so he's got that thick accent. He's like, Jeremiah. He's like, I don't even look at the, and he cusses a little bit. He's like, I don't even look at the darn markets anymore. And I was like, well, what do you do? And he's like, well, I don't need to. He's like, he uses like CDs and other fixed growth assets that are safer, because he doesn't have to take the unnecessary risk. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, he's got a significant amount of money that he retired with, not just the pension, but he had a nice nest egg as well. But those are the happiest guys I know. Why? They have pensions. And, I think their wives are happy too. And I would imagine that it because they know how much they can spend every month. And that's a
There's some
powerful thing.
stability. Yeah. There's
Well,
stability
yeah,
in the household, and it really allows you, like you said, bringing on to point two, that stability allows you to be more aggressive. And in Tim's case, he maybe not as aggressive, but allows that person the choice of being more aggressive.
yeah, that and to bring back up Tom Hegna, who's a industry expert in our field and kind of a character in a lot of ways. One of his like presentations that he always says, and I'd love to meet him one day. I'd love to have him on our show actually one day, which would be really cool. But he's an advocate for annuities, and he's a retired veteran. He also worked for New York Life for a period of time, and but he's a industry expert, and he's done all the research. And one of the things that he says, though, he's very animated, right? He always tells
Mhm.
stories, and he's like, back in I guess this would be like my grandfather's era. He's like, when they would retire back in like the 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s era, he's like, you'd get a retirement party, you'd get champagne. He's like, you'd also get a Rolex watch. And today, you don't get any of that crap. Guess what you get? You get a 401k. And
Mhm.
you don't get the retirement Rolex. You don't get the retirement pension. You get the 401k. And along with that is all of the headache, the stress, the potential fear, concern, potential regret. Why? You have to think about this. Like when, and I don't want to make this a political thing, right?